Says the Pele Yoetz. With today's entry is Derech Eretz. Derech Eretz, common courtesy. Common courtesy is not so common anymore, right? But Chaz v'Shalom, we have to make sure to have Derech Eretz, which means common courtesy, to be mannerful, to be respectful, to be Odom. What do you say? Odam. Odam Giri, right? You have to be, a person. You have to be a mensch. So he says the person has to study books of Musar. He has to study, even there's a Chazal wrote, the Tanaim wrote, Masechet Derech Eretz. There's a whole Masechet of how to have manners. For example, it talks about over there when they bring a langiri to the table, right? You don't take till the owner takes, till Baal Bayit takes, right? The person has to be aware of his surroundings, not just do whatever he wants, right? Right. So therefore, he says you have to study sefers like books like Reshit Chochmah or Shnei Luchot Abrit, Shevet Musar, all these books that talk about having Derech Eretz. And a person who really wants to be connecting to the tree of life, connected to Hashem, he will learn and search diligently how to fulfill these halachot, as the sages tell us in Midrash, Vayikra Rabba, Derech Eretz Kadma leTorah, that the proper social conduct and common courtesy is a prerequisite to the Torah, which means that Torah must be studied in a way that molds your soul and shapes you how you continue to live and behave in your life. A person who studies Torah and his intentions is still to be uncivilized, his intention is still to be undignified, he doesn't work on himself, the Torah he learns, he doesn't penetrate and become part of himself, he should know that he's not tapping into what the Torah really has to offer. He's not really doing what the Torah wants him to do, because Derech Eretz is a prerequisite to study Torah. So therefore, the sages say that a Tamid Chacham, knowledgeable person, who does not have Derech Eretz, who doesn't have basic manners, basic self-respect, basic respect for others, a nevela is better than him. A dead animal is better than him. Dead animal, it's there, it doesn't bother you, can move away from it, and doesn't cause problems to anybody. It's easy to manage. This, big problem. A person who's religious, but he blocks your driveway to go to Mincha, to hear Megillah. This is a lack of Derech Eretz. A person who is religious, and he goes and he makes noises during prayers, and it bothers other people. He goes and he takes people's things without permission. He goes and he makes a mess and doesn't clean up after himself, and the other person who comes after him doesn't know how to deal with it. It's so annoying. I have to clean up after this guy all the time. What is this? Is this his house? And people start saying, this is religious people? This is that, Chilul Hashem. So therefore, it was better that nothing of this happened, because it causes a lot of problems. So therefore, a person has to have, it's called tact. He has to be aware. Wow, I'm sitting on this chair, and he goes, when I'm praying. It's not Derech Eretz. Rabbi, I didn't realize. Why don't you realize? You don't pay attention to your surroundings. You don't care. You think you're the only one in this room. That if I'm comfortable and it doesn't bother me, it doesn't bother anybody else. A guy doesn't put deodorant. He comes to pray. I don't smell anything. What's the problem? I think I'm good. What do you mean? If people can't sit next to you, can't pray next to you. So what? So therefore, a person has to be aware. He has to go out of his way to make sure that he's not bothering somebody. As the Klal Gadol, the rule is, person should do what's good and proper in the eyes of Hashem and man. But Chaz v'Shalom, we do what? We only do what's good for us. No, we have to be realizing what Hashem and other people want and would like from us. And he has to forgo his want for the want of others in order to be able to have Derech Eretz. He says, for example, a person has to always be nervous that he shouldn't be burdening his friend, he says, right? As the Sefer Hasidim writes, maybe I'm burdening my friend. As what? Sometimes I go and speak to my friend, and I'm speaking to him for a long time, or I go to his house, and I sit in his house for too long, and I think, whatever, I'm doing him in chesed, I'm speaking to him, I'm making him happy, I'm laughing with him, and he doesn't know that inside, the host is like, okay, I gotta go, I want to go to sleep, how do I get rid of this guy? Until when is he going to stay here? Or what? Sometimes the Pele Yoetz says, sometimes the person is asking too many questions. He's digging in this guy's life. He's asking too many personal things. He doesn't know how to tell him, back off, leave it alone. He's trying to change the subject, And you think that, you're making him comfortable by speaking about these kind of things, and you're making him in a very uncomfortable place. And all these things, a person, whenever he's doing or interacting with others, he has to realize that maybe in my mind it's okay, but what about him? Am I burdening him? Am I bothering him? and so too when it comes to speakers. There's Erech Eretz when it comes to speakers also, says the Pele Yoetz. He says, Darshanim, people who are orators, public orators, even though they're going to bring a lot of beautiful concepts and ideas, they have to realize and remember, don't speak too long. It's going to go and inconvenience the audience. The audience is going to be like, oh, when is it over? And they're doing you a favor, just sitting there and listening to you, and then they put their head down. There's also Derech Eretz to be a listener. Sometimes people come to the shiur just started. There's no reason to be bored. And what? They come with the Tehillim. Rabbi, I'm listening. When you say something interesting, I'll stop and listen. But for now, it's boring, so I'm just going to say Tehillim. It's a big offense. Very big disrespect to the speaker. Or people go, and you say, Rabbi, I'm listening, Rabbi. Oh, Rabbi, that's an interesting chidush. Wow, okay. And he goes back to sleep. In front of the guy's face, he showed there's people go, in the middle of the guy's speech, in the middle of the guy's shiur. This is all disrespectful. Well, I want the rabbi to be like a headphones. I put a headphones, I fall asleep. I hear the shiur, I pay attention, I don't pay attention. That's the rabbi. He's like a headphones. No. He's a person. He sees what you're doing. He needs to show that there's interest. At least, for his sake, go out of your way to show him as if you're interested, because Chas v'Shalom, it's demoralizing. The guy is not motivated next time to speak. Yes, maybe he should make it shorter. Yes, he should make it more with stories and make him a little bit more spicy. That's true. But until that point, we have a permission to go and kill his confidence, to go and make him feel uncomfortable. That's a lack of derech eretz. So therefore, you see in many, many different situations, a person has to think about the other person and not try to burden the other person. Rather, you should go and do what is good for both people. As it says in Masechet Ketubot, when you go to Hatan and he asks about the Kala, what do you think about Kala? What does Bet Hillel say? Bet Shammai says you should go and say the truth. Right? You try to find something good. There's nothing good to say. Don't say anything good. You can't lie. But according to Bet Hillel, what does he say? You say, Kala na'av hasuda. You say that she's a beautiful, charming bride, and therefore what? A person who bought something and he can't return it, what should he do? You tell him something good. He already bought. That's it. He took this kala. You can't lie to him. You can't tell him. You can't tell him that. You shouldn't return it. You made a mistake. Because of derech eretz, you should go and tell the guy something in order to bring him up and not to bring him down. And this is what every religious person has to remember. Just like you're machmir in ben adam, you and Hashem, you have to be machmir in ben adam havero zelu umat. They're all connected. They're all one tablet and one tablet. They're equal. Sometimes people can forget. I can be machmir for Hashem. For my friend, I'm machmir for him. I said my mitzvah is more important, Chas v'Shalom, and to make him uncomfortable. Rather, we should zocher to think not just only ourselves, but about our fellow Jews as well.